Hollywood's golden age gave us some of the most glamorous stars ever to walk the screen. But behind the cameras, many of these legends carried dark secrets, arrests, scandals, even prison time. Today, we're uncovering 15 golden age actors whose real lives were as dramatic as their films. 1. Steve McQueen, from reform school to movie icon. Before he became the king of cool in Bullitt and The Great Escape, Steve McQueen spent his youth in reform schools and even ran with street gangs. His troubled start gave him the tough edge that later made him Hollywood's favorite anti-hero. 2. Edward G. Robinson, gangster on and off-screen. Known for Little Caesar and Double Indemnity, Edward G. Robinson played intimidating mobsters with ease. But he wasn't just acting, he had connections with real-life mobsters, a fact that haunted his career despite his undeniable talent. 3. Danny Trejo, prison to stardom. Danny Trejo served time in San Quentin for armed robbery before turning his life around. His gritty past made him perfect for roles in Blood In, Blood Out, and Machete, where he channeled his real experiences into unforgettable performances. 4. Paul Kelly, a convicted leading man. Paul Kelly was convicted of manslaughter in the 1920s after a violent altercation turned deadly. Despite this, Hollywood welcomed him back, and he starred in classics like the Roaring Twenties. His story remains one of the most shocking in Golden Age Hollywood. 5. James Cagney, street fighter turned legend. James Cagney, star of The Public Enemy and White Heat, grew up in rough New York neighborhoods, running with gangs before turning to acting. His real-life street toughness gave his gangster roles an authenticity no other actor could match. 7. John Garfield, the street kid boxer. Before his breakout roles in Body and Soul and Force of Evil, John Garfield was a troubled youth who spent time in reform school. Boxing saved him, but his raw past always bled into his roles as vulnerable but tough men. 7. Anthony Quinn, fighter in the streets and on screen. Anthony Quinn, best known for Zorba the Greek and La Strada, was arrested multiple times in his youth for street fighting. That fiery temper became his trademark in Hollywood, fueling the intensity that made him unforgettable. 8. Mickey Rooney, arrests and wild living. The beloved Andy Hardy star lived a reckless life off-screen, with public arrests and scandals. Even as he starred in National Velvet and dozens of MGM films, his personal troubles kept him in the headlines as much as his movies. 9. Spencer Tracy, bar fights and police trouble. Before he became an Oscar-winning legend in films like Captains Courageous and Boys Town, Spencer Tracy was arrested for drunken bar fights and disorderly conduct. His rough past contrasted sharply with his later reputation as a Hollywood gentleman. 10. George Raft, the gangster with real mob ties. George Raft, star of Scarface and Each Dawn I Die, wasn't just pretending. He grew up in Hell's Kitchen and had close ties with real mobsters. His off-screen reputation made him both feared and respected in Hollywood, but also kept him under FBI watch. 11. Robert Mitchum, the marijuana bust. Robert Mitchum's arrest for marijuana possession in 1948 shocked Hollywood. At the time, drug arrests could end a career, but his bad boy image in Out of the Past and Cape Fear only grew stronger, making him even more popular. 12. Errol Flynn, trial of the century. The swashbuckling star of Captain Blood and the Adventures of Robin Hood was tried in the 1940s on serious assault charges. Though acquitted, the scandal nearly destroyed his career, yet his roguish image became part of his legend. 13. Clark Gable, hit-and-run scandal. The king of Hollywood, star of Gone with the Wind and It Happened One Night, was rumored to have been involved in a deadly hit-and-run cover-up in the 1930s. MGM allegedly pulled strings to protect his reputation, proving how powerful studios were in controlling scandal. 14. Fatty Arbuckle, silent era's most infamous scandal. One of the biggest stars of the silent era, Fatty Arbuckle's career collapsed after a 1921 scandal involving the death of a young actress. Though acquitted in court, his reputation never recovered, making him one of Hollywood's earliest cautionary tales. 15. Bela Lugosi addiction and arrests. The legendary Dracula star struggled with morphine addiction and was arrested for drug possession. His haunting on-screen performances reflected his personal demons, and his tragic decline became as famous as his career. These 15 actors prove that Hollywood's golden age wasn't just about glitz and glamour. Behind the camera, many of these stars fought demons, faced arrests, or lived double lives that rivaled their own films. Some overcame their pasts, while others were consumed by them, but together, they show us that stardom and scandal often walked hand in hand.